Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Dime Time. We are previewing the number 2 seed in the East versus the number 7 seed in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. Now, all hell should have broken loose. Two-time NBA finalists, reigning NBA champions, Cleveland Cavaliers have not even made it to the number 1 seed in the East. There's an explanation for it. This team is now going to be clocking in close to 300 games over the past 3 seasons, including this season. That's a lot of wear and tear on their body. This is a team that's tired. And they had a bunch of injuries during the season, right? Kevin Love missed some time. J.R. Smith missed some time. And in that time, Matthew Dellavedova left the team and moved on to to the Milwaukee Bucks. This is where LeBron James had to take the ball and play point guard for the team. He complained during the season that his team needed another ball handler, and fairly so. Kyrie Irving plays much better off the ball than he plays on the ball. LeBron James understands this, and he understands that in order for Kyrie Irving to succeed and be the best player that he can be, he needs to play off the ball. LeBron James needs to be bringing up the ball, which is why during the season they made the smart acquisition of Deron Williams. The moment they brought Deron Williams on board, it took him some time to get a feel of what the Cavs do and how that offense runs. But now that he's on board, it makes so much more sense for the Cavs to run the ball through Deron Williams. LeBron James will continue to dominate the ball. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But it's easier for him now to take a few possessions off when Deron Williams is on the floor and allow Deron Williams to play point guard during that time. So Kyrie Irving stayed healthy pretty much throughout the season. He had one of the best seasons he's had as a Cavalier. He scored more than 25 points a game. But what's key is that he's shooting over 40% from the three-point line. And the more that can be said about LeBron's season, the less it seems. This is his 13th year in the league, and his production has not waned even one bit. If you take just two factors into consideration, right? Player X, who has made consecutive playoff appearances, and features among the top 5 players, actually forget top 5, even top 10 players of the league. LeBron James is far ahead of any NBA player that has ever played in the league. At this point of time, LeBron James has played 1,100 games in 11 consecutive seasons where he's made the playoffs and has been among the top 5 players in the league. Compare that to Jabbar, who played 1,192 games in 13 seasons. But again, there you got to make the consideration that Jabbar in those last 3 seasons wasn't even the best player on the Lakers. Forget being one of the best players in the league. Michael Jordan at his peak has done a best of 835 games, and Kobe Bryant has done about 630, 640 games. Both of them doing it in roughly about 6 to 8 seasons. At this point of time, LeBron James is the only player to do what he is doing, which is feature in at least 1,100 games in just about more than 10 seasons and stay the number 1 player at the top. I'm not even considering the fact that this guy has appeared for a bunch of world championships for the US and even played in the Olympics. So clearly, the ton of mileage that LeBron James is carrying into this season is unprecedented. No NBA player has ever done this in the history of the league. In my opinion, LeBron James is already among the top 10 players to have ever played the NBA. I think with another championship, which looks likely this season, with another championship, he easily cracks the top 5. The Pacers have had a fairly mediocre season, something that's evident even from the fact that they finished the season with 42 and 40. This is a team that clearly has lost its identity. This is a team that had an identity, a clear defensive, a clear offensive identity when they made a bunch of deep playoff runs earlier this decade and took the fight to the Miami Heat. In the offseason as well, they let go of fan favorite George Hill and replaced him with a similarly competitive Jeff Teague. They brought in Al Jefferson, but Al Jefferson's on the wrong side of 30, and even by his standards, he had a ridiculously mediocre season. The only exciting thing about the Pacers season was not good for the Pacers themselves. There was rumbling during the trade deadline that Paul George may be traded to the Lakers or the Celtics. But both the Lakers and the Celtics, who are loaded with young talent, are very smart and know that it almost makes it makes no sense to trade for Paul George and empty their roster right now. Paul George is very, very clear that he wants to be on a championship contender when he turns out to be a free agent 2 seasons from now. He's a restricted free agent after next season, and he's an unrestricted free agent after the season after that. He's made it clear he wants to be on a championship contender, and nothing the Pacers have done indicates that they are going to keep or create or put together a championship contender around him. The Lakers and the Celtics both have the pieces ready to contend for a championship. Both of them are looking for stars. Yeah, the Celtics have Isaiah Thomas, but please, Isaiah Thomas over Paul George, not going to happen. Paul George is clearly the bigger star there. He's a better player at both ends of the floor. So both the Celtics and Lakers were smart enough to stay put and wait for the opportunity of Paul George becoming a free agent before taking a plunge and signing him. The only bright spot of the Pacers season was the 5-game winning streak they pulled off at the end of the season to ensure they had a playoff spot. Coming to the head-to-head matchup, the Cavs swept the series, and nothing about the current situation of the Cavs and the current situation of the Pacers indicates that this series, the playoff series, is going to be any different. Sure, there was that crazy double overtime slugfest in Cleveland, 135 to 130, where Paul George choked in the end and missed a bunch of free throws to put the game missing the opportunity to put the game away. But that was more an anomaly than the reality. The reality of the matter is the Cleveland Cavaliers are clearly the better team. They are clearly the more stacked team. The Pacers' talent significantly falls off if Paul George is not firing. And yes, Paul George is not scared of LeBron James. He's going to bring the fight to LeBron James. And that's the only thing that's going to be interesting about this series. I think the Cavs will take care of business here. It's, by the way, just another point to remember. It is in the Cavs' best interests to get rid of the Pacers in 4, maybe 5 games. Why? Because like you would have heard in my other preview, where the Raptors will take on the Bucks, the Raptors are going to have their hands full with the Bucks. Even if the Raptors I think that series goes to 7, but even if the Raptors take care of business in 6, it's going to be a slugfest of a series. The Raptors are going to come out of that series extremely tired. And if the Cavaliers manage to wrap up the Pacers in 4 games, they get that extra few days of rest, and they're going to meet a tired Raptors team, therefore making it easier for them to make it to their 3rd Eastern Conference Finals back-to-back. Sure, the Cavs are tired, but they are 100% healthy. This is the Cavs series to lose. I think they're going to take it in 4 games. So my prediction, Cavs are going to sweep the Pacers in 4 games. Thanks for watching. If you think you got something better to say, definitely leave it down in the comments and check out my other playoff previews. I will be previewing every playoff matchup until the finals.